Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Do you need a mortgage? If you're looking for one, give my friend Jerry and her team a call today at 865-238-7500. You can also visit them online at volunteerhomemortgage.com. They are a wealth of mortgage information. And believe it or not, if you have any questions, they will be able to answer those for you immediately as they answer the phone. That's one thing Jerry says. She goes, "We answer the phone." We don't have any automation or anything like that. Let me lower this desk a little bit. It seems a little high. Anyways, good morning. Happy Friday. How's everybody doing this morning? Welcome to Wake Up with the Witcher. It's 7:30 this morning. Chris is joining us. Let's see. I'll be going to Sam's Club in Murfreesboro today. Nice. Good morning, Kathy. How are you this morning? Have you been outside yet? Are you on your way to work? Are you at work yet? It is super foggy to get the day started. We'll take you back outside to Anderson County. This is a live look in downtown Clinton, and woo, that fog is thick this morning, and it's going to slow some of you down. Of course, we're going to highlight that in your forecast coming up here in just a second. We're also talking about, of course, your weekend forecast and what that looks like, and really highlight what we can anticipate in the long term. Plus, of course, we're going to be talking about Tropical Storm Erin that could become a major hurricane. It's now forecasted to become a Category 4 hurricane. So we'll see how that all plays out. All right, let's get to work with the maps here for those of you that need to get off to work here this morning. Yesterday, we did top out at 90 degrees. It was a hot day yesterday. What was I forecasting? Yesterday, I was forecasting 88 degrees. It was a super muggy day, and those showers and thunderstorms that fired up yesterday, whoo, they packed a punch. Now, officially at some of the measurements, at some of the reporting stations anyways, Tri-Cities only picked up a quarter of an inch of rain and only 0.12 of an inch in Crossville. But I got a good solid downpour. I mean, it walloped here for about 10 to 15 minutes or so, and then it moved on out. The sun came out, and then it got super, super sticky. Good morning, Julie. How are you this morning? Anyway, so that's where we saw the rainfall yesterday. When you add up the last 2 days, we've seen some decent amount of rain. And, of course, if you added up the 3-day forecast, rainfall totals anyways, it was we've got some good solid rain. So now the sun's going to come out. Temperatures are coming up, and you know what that means. That means the weeds are going to be growing. The yard's going to be growing again. So you have to probably get out and do some mowing here this upcoming weekend. Try to do it in the afternoon, well, maybe late morning. Let the dew kind of dry out a little bit because we're going to have quite a bit of dew as we get into the morning hours. But I will say also this, that we have got a frontal boundary that's shifted off to our south. This is going to allow for some slightly drier air to settle on in as we get into the weekend. I think it's not necessarily going to be noticeable per se, but it's not going to be as tropical-like as it has been, which means that our heat index values are still going to be hot, yes, but probably going to mitigate it just a hair. It's going to be a great lake weekend, a great pool weekend. If you have travel plans across the state, not much going on. Got a couple of showers starting to fire up now down towards northern Alabama. We'll see what those do, but those may shift their way a little bit further to the north, but we'll be tracking those for you. And, of course, you can track them with the interactive radar in the East Tennessee Weather app, of course. Nothing going on out there this morning. That's just ground clutter from the radar. That's all you're seeing there on the screen. No rain, clear skies if you're not stuck in the fog. Now, this morning, I'm going to choose the HRRR model. It's the versus my in-house model. I think it has probably a better handle on what we potentially could see throughout the afternoon. So the fog's going to lift, like it was yesterday. We have mostly cloudy skies first thing in the morning because as that fog lifts, it just gives us that overcast kind of stratus-looking cloud coverage. And then the atmosphere mixes out, and then we see some sunshine. We'll see partly cloudy skies, and can't rule out as we get into the afternoon a couple of pop-up showers and thunderstorms. I'm really not expecting much. And if you've been with me all week long, we've been talking about the fact that I do think that some slightly drier air is going to settle on in, not to mention less available moisture to precipitate out of the atmosphere. And so any storms that do get going are not probably going to be the rainmakers that we've seen over the last week anyway. So that's good news. When you look at your rainfall forecast by the end of the day, again, good news to pass along on a good old Friday. Got some great witchers adventures I'm going to tell you about here in just a second. All right, let's dive into the details on that fog here this morning. The fog is thick in some locations, especially if you saw the rain yesterday, upper East Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia border, along Interstate 81, 25W, 11E. We've got some dense fog there. So if you have a lot of fog in your area, snap a photo, upload it to Witcher's Pictures. I'd love to be able to see that. As of right now, I do not have any new photos to share with you this morning. That's sad. That's okay, though. Anyways, temperatures this morning are in the 60s and 70s, so mild and muggy. Dew points are currently in the 70s, 60s and 70s. So it is definitely a muggy day. Even Tri-Cities, we are going to see some better weather, I think, for some morning lows in Upper East Tennessee as we get into the upcoming weekend, and likely more so for everybody by the end of next week. There does appear that we are going to see some drier air to settle its way on in, but we'll probably see a little bit more active weather as well. All right, so forecast highs today, back to the upper 80s to low 90s, but because we've got the high dew points are going to be elevated. We've got some sunshine. That is going to put our heat index values in the upper 90s to low 100s, so it is definitely going to be a toasty one. So as we highlight your 7-day forecast, we will continue to see those temps warming. Actually, a ridge of high pressure is going to start to build its way back in. That does a couple things. A, it brings us the heat. B, it's going to shut down those rain chances. Now, I'm going to keep a CYB forecast going for the weekend. I'm going to keep it 20%. I think we've talked about this before. You know what CYB means, right? But it is summertime. It is August. It is the southeast. We've got high terrain like the plateau and the mountains, so can't rule out maybe a stray shower. But I think generally speaking, we will likely stay dry both Saturday and Sunday. And probably the case as we get into our Monday and Tuesday. But it's going to be toasty. Like I said, it's going to be a good lake weekend if you want to get out and enjoy the lakes. I told my wife just a second ago as we were walking down to the bus stop this morning, I said, we've really not been out on the lake with our paddle boards that much this year. And I don't really know why. I mean, just life gets busy, right? And it's hot, and it's, sometimes a hassle to pack everything up and get down there. But not that much of a hassle to go out and have some fun. Either way, enjoy the weekend. If you have outdoor plans or outdoor activities, or if you need to garden or mow the yard, you're better to do it first thing in the morning, not 7 o'clock in the morning. Somebody in the neighborhood was mowing their yard at like 7:15. I think it was like last Saturday morning. I was like, that seems a bit early to be mowing the yard, but hey, to each their own, right? All right, so we know temperatures are going to be in the low to mid 90s. Dew points, like I said, are going to drop a little bit Saturday and Sunday, but then they climb right back up. Not a lot. The graph makes it look like it's a little bit more extreme than it really is. It's just a few degrees, really. But lower dew points will mitigate some of that heat index value this over the weekend. Still hot, upper 90s, but as we get into our Monday, Tuesday, and possibly Wednesday as well, we'll be pushing probably close to 100 degrees, and I think that's going to be the case throughout the day today because we do have that higher humidity in place. Again, looking at your rain chances across the board, 20 to a little bit elevated rain chances. I'll be watching that Thursday, Friday, probably. I think based on some of the latest model guidance, I think probably Friday and Saturday of next weekend could bring us potentially some more rain around the area. So we'll be highlighting that, of course, coming up next week. Other than that, when you look at your rainfall forecast all the way through Thursday, most of the rain is going to be in North Carolina along the eastern side of the Appalachian Mountains. Let's take you to the tropics here for a second. If you've been paying attention to Tropical Storm Erin, winds now at 70 miles per hour, likely to become a Category 1 hurricane today with the next update, and maybe a Category 4 north of the Caribbean or north of the Greater Antilles, and then swinging its way northward. And it's going to come close. Some of the latest spaghetti plots have it a little bit closer. Let me show you some of those spaghetti plots because some of those spaghetti plots have, let's see if I can get those on there for you, show you a little bit more. It kind of gives you an idea of what the models are doing. These are the hurricane models, if you will. So here's Erin, bottom right-hand side of the screen. There's your spaghetti plots. So these are all a bunch of different models. And you can see how one has it going towards the Outer Banks of North Carolina, but the rest of them have it taking a hard right turn. There's a trough that's going to come on through towards the end of the week, and that's that trough I was telling you about that's likely to bring us elevated rain chances towards the end of the week as well. And this really tells a story. While we'll likely stay slightly above average or just above average, the probabilities are there for probably staying above average all the way from the 21st to the 25th time frame, but maybe some drier, slightly cooler, or more average type weather from the 23rd through the 29th. When you look at the Climate Prediction Center's forecast for rainfall, maybe a little bit of an uptick in those rain chances, and then maybe more average rainfall, which, again, you got to realize that August, September, and October are our 3 driest months of the year. I want to take you outside and show you a cool time lapse. This is from KMNV yesterday morning, and you had the fog yesterday morning, had the overcast gray skies. Then we actually, that is not the right one. That is not the right one. I wanted to just give you this one. So this is Hardin Valley, and you had the fog yesterday morning, but watch this. We end the day with a beautiful sunset. You can see the clouds, the little bubbles in the atmosphere trying to billow, trying. And then here we go. A couple storms start to fire up right there. Boom. That's the one that moved over my house, over through the Carnes area. And then take a look at this sunset last night. Oh, is that just not so nice? Gotta love those sunsets. Beautiful sunsets. All right, let's go to chat for a second. Then we'll get to work with your national holidays here in a second. Stratus clouds are the coolest looking, says Curly. Yeah, stratus clouds can be cool. They're really cool to time lapse sometimes because you can see the undulations in the atmosphere. You can see it like undulating anyways. And but some of my favorites really are those fair weather cumulus clouds. I love time lapsing those. I think they're so cool. Or thunderstorms, when you can get a good thunderstorm just to go and blow up. Those are some of my favorite time lapses. Remember, on the East Tennessee Weather website, that's easttnweather.com, front and center at the very top of the website, I do have time lapses from all my cameras from the previous day. Okay? So if you want to just check out and see what the weather looked like from yesterday, it really gives you a good idea on what the weather actually looks like it could potentially be. So definitely something that you should check out on the website as well. Good morning, Kathy. Happy Friday to you. Lordy, hot. It is my deed. But shall we take a moment of silence? We did it yesterday for the folks that lost their lives in Chattanooga, right? We had 4 lives lost in Chattanooga. But Buck brings up a great point. For those of you that watched WBIR Channel 10 for years, I worked with him for years and years and years. We need to give some respect to Mr. Ken Schwal. He was a funny man. He was an amazing journalist. But when he really got into his element was when he was able to go out and just have fun. Man, I'll tell you what, I had heard that he was sick not too long ago, and to hear of his passing yesterday just breaks my heart. He is one of the kindest men I have ever met in my entire life. He would always pick you up. He would always come back to the weather center at the station and say, Witcher, what's going on, Witcher? And we did a couple shoots together. We had we had a lot of fun together. Now, I didn't work with him every single day, but I did see him at the station every single day. So it is a sad moment. Somebody else texted me yesterday, a friend of mine, John Ashley, who actually advertises with us, the pressure washing guy. And he goes, man, I feel like my childhood is fading away because he grew up watching these guys, right? He's from East Tennessee. If you grew up watching all these, the Margie Isons and the Ken Schwals, and it breaks my heart for somebody like Bill Williams, who's still kicking and still doing great. And Bill, we're always thinking about you, my friend, because he is another amazing, amazing man. All right, let's get to work with those national holidays for the day today. And, of course, it is August 15th. There it is. Where is my national holidays? There it is. All right. So it's August 15th. Of course, we're always celebrating birthdays and events. And happy birthday to Sister Susie. Got to give a big shout out to birthdays. Is Aaron supposed to produce high tides for the East Coast? Yes, it's going to produce some pretty good waves for the Eastern Seaboard. All right, birthdays and events here today. If you're celebrating birthday like Susie, give us a big shout out. If you have any events going on here this weekend, I will tell you that, of course, this is the time to tell you that the Big Kahuna Wing Festival is coming up August 31st. I'm the lead meteorologist for the festival. About 8,000 to 10,000 people heading down to World's Fair Park. Tickets are on sale right now, so just go to the BigKahunaWingFestival.com. And purchase your tickets if you want to do that. I have mentioned to you before, I'm unable to make it to the event as I will be attending one of my best friend's wedding. All right. It's National Leathercraft Day. All right, there we go. This takes me back to Boy Scouts, right? I did a lot of leather making in Boy Scouts. I actually got my leather making merit badge in Boy Scouts. And one of my kids' doctors actually is a leather craftsman himself, and sells like belts and holsters and all these crazy things. It's funny, actually, when you go to the doctor's office and you see some of his stuff sitting in the corner. Like, wait, what? I'm in a doctor's office. What? Anyways, it's National Lemon Meringue Pie Day. I'll give a big shout out to that. I love everything lemon. Lemon meringue pie, I do like as well. Pretty good stuff right there. And today is Friday, so why not make it National Relaxation Day? Leathercraft is a cool hobby. Probably a little bit of a lost art in some, I think, with technology and machines making everything these days. But you know what I love to see? I love to see, actually, those are all your national holidays for the day. We'll just move right along. Then I'll continue. Stand by. We'll take it back out to Anderson County because it's super foggy right now this morning. All right. So I was just going to say something to that, and I forgot what I was going to say. Lost my train of thought. But we're going to wish Kaylee a happy birthday. It's Candace's daughter is 17 years old today. Man, I remember being 17. It was like yesterday. I'm only 18 now. Sometimes I act like I'm 15. But happy birthday to you, Kaylee. Absolutely. The great Ken Schwal. What a great guy. Good luck on hearing back from your job there, Brian. Love to hear the news. If you have great news to pass along to us or any sort of news in your life, or if you need some prayers, of course, we'll be here for you as well. Let's see. Nothing better than making those wooden race cars. Those are called the Pinewood Derby cars. Yes, I won first place many years in a row. I still have my cars, by the way, and I still have all my Pinewood Derby cars as well. Isn't lemon meringue so good? Relaxing and chilling like a villain. That's your style, my friend. Your uncle is a bladesmith and works with leather. I usually have his leather works in my booths. That's really cool. Leatherwork is a lost art. Julie says, happy birthday. Hey, there we go. Michelle says, hey, Buck. Buck can join us now because we're not at 6 o'clock in the morning. Buck's like, okay, I'm awake now. This guy right there, he overslept. Yay for you. Funny story, actually, Chris. I actually overslept too this morning. I didn't sleep well last night. I got up at it was like 12:30 at night. It was like midnight or so, and I rolled over, looked at the clock, and I was like, what? It's only 12:30. Go back to bed, Witcher. And then it was about 2 o'clock in the morning that I woke back up, and I was like, it's only 2 o'clock in the morning. Go back to bed. Crawled over, snuggled my wife for a second. Next thing I know, I didn't hear my alarm clock. That goes off at about 3:30. Woke up at about 4:20 this morning. So there's that. You can hardly remember 17 years ago, let alone when I was 17. Well, that's probably true. I remember 17 and 18, and I loved high school. I thought it was so much fun. Little Witchers Adventures. So the Witchers are going to be attending the rodeo tonight. You better believe I'm putting on my cowboy boots. Yeah, we're going to be attending the rodeo tonight. It's the Farragut Rodeo? If Janelle's on here, maybe she can attest that. I think it's the Farragut Rodeo. So if you see the Witchers over at the rodeo tonight, if you're going, give us a big shout out. So we're going to be going to the rodeo tonight. That's great. Let's see. What else is going on? I've had to take apart my sink. I got to repipe the whole thing. It's gross and nasty. And, sometimes when your sinks get, if you start noticing gnats in your kitchen, that means you got gunk inside of your pipes. And so a couple things they say to do is like lemon juice, of course, apple cider vinegar. Of course, you can put some stuff down in the sink to kill all those they live down in there, which is really weird. I think it's just really weird. But anyways, we had some gnats, and so I gotta replumb the kitchen sink. So that's all torn apart. And my poor wife this morning, I forgot to tell her that the sink was torn apart, like that there wasn't any drain left. The poor girl turned on the sink this morning, and water's just draining down in the bottom of the cabinets. And again, I didn't really want to fix the sink because many of you know that I'm actually trying to get through start a kitchen renovation. I was like, I don't want to spend money on getting new piping when we're going to do this, but it's going to be a hot minute before we get done with this. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. You love the rodeos, have worked several rodeos. I grew up in Colorado. The National Rodeo Hall of Fame is in Colorado Springs, Colorado. So that's always fun. Rodeos are cool. Yee-haw! I know, isn't it cool? Let's see. I did see your message on Messenger, Lisa. I did. And I will, next time I come up to Sevier County, which I think is coming up on the next week, the 22nd, I'll be back up in Sevier County to shoot some video and reels for one of my new advertisers that's going to be coming on board here in the month of September. And this is one of the advertisers that I told you that I dropped some equipment off up in Sevier County the other day. So some great great views heading your way here soon. So I'll be up in Sevier County on the 22nd, Lisa. Remind me, if you wouldn't mind, I'll put it on my calendar to come visit you, okay? But just for craziness, because life gets crazy. I got like 18 balls in the air, and I'm trying to remember everything. That's why my calendar is loaded with stuff all the time. But anyways, on the 22nd, if you can remind me, Lisa, say, hey, listen, remember to come visit me today. I will come say hi. And then we'll post a picture of us too. How about that? Let's see. Having trouble with cars in Oak Ridge, so Honda CR-V is getting a new battery at AutoZone. There we go. Big shout out to AutoZone, I guess. All right. Happy birthday to your great nephew, Austin. He is also 17 years old today. I had another great nephew that just turned 18. Blows my mind. I was just talking to our bus driver about her not grandkids, nephews, whatever it was, how they are also they're getting ready to turn 16. She's like, "What? How did that happen?" I just looked at my kids this morning. I was like, "You guys are getting so big. This is insane. This is ridiculous." Let's see if anybody's posted a Witcher's pictures. I did not have any when I first came in, but we do have a new one. How about Joey? Joey Exum Adventures. Beautiful drone shot of a beautiful sunrise. Let's get his logo on there, right? Let's give him a big shout out, Joey Exum. He says on this one, he just posted this, so thanks, Joey, for doing that. Sunrise above Lenore City, taken above intersection of Highway 70 and Highway 321. And look at the glow off in the distance. That, my friends, is gorgeous. Absolutely amazing. Big shout out to Joey this morning. We saw my woolly worm post yesterday from Felicia posting that. I posted it again, said, okay, what does this mean? Oh, man. What does it mean? Who knows? We'll see what kind of winter this is going to really be. Oh, man. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. I really appreciate it. It is now just about 8 o'clock. Morning's cruising right along. It's weird to be broadcasting live at almost 8 o'clock in the morning, but everything gets posted before we go live on all East Tennessee weather platforms and some social media stuff as well. So again, if you can't attend these lives, the goal is to start diving into a lot more details. I'm working on some stuff to be able to share a little bit more information. That's what the live platform's for, so you can get a little bit more information. Plus, of course, it's about community. It's always great to have the community here. Lots of stuff going on with East Tennessee weather. Lots of stuff, not much active weather this weekend. It's going to be hot. So get out and find yourself a body of water. Drink plenty of water this weekend. But more importantly, make it the best weekend. Summer will be winding down here real soon, which means fall, which is nice, which also means winter, which some of you may say not so nice. Unless you like the snow and we have a winter like we had last year, which I'm all for. I love the winter season. All right, my friends, we're going to leave you with Live Look again. Let's take a look at some other cameras. We'll go down to KMNV. How about that? That's always a nice sunset or sunrise. It is always a nice sunrise. Hey, by the way, if you don't have the East Tennessee Weather app, scan that QR code or just log on to your app store and search East Tennessee Weather. Look for the orange TN and the white lightning bolt. You can't miss it. It is all things East Tennessee. Have a great Friday. See you back here tomorrow morning. Wake Up with Witcher starts off at 8 o'clock in the morning, Saturday and Sunday. See you then.